Here in the UK, certainly the Jewish community has been quite badly hit by the coronavirus, suffering proportionately more deaths than other groups. But it's also very difficult to come up with statistics like that because of the way that these things are counted. The Jewish Communities Organisation, the Board of Deputies of British Jews, does issue weekly statistics about the number of funerals in which COVID-19 was mentioned on the death certificate, but that's not necessarily the same method of counting coronavirus deaths as the national statistics. So it's hard to extrapolate and make any kind of conclusions based on proportionality. However, as you said, there is this new figure this week that 7 people have died. It's a low number, but remembering that Jews are such a small minority in the United Kingdom, it is important because it's the highest number of Jews who've died from COVID-19 since sometime in June. And now that could be in part due to the Chagim, the high holy days, and that Jews were perhaps gathering more, mixing together more. But it seems unlikely that that's the case because while Purim, the Jewish festival, which fell around the start of the pandemic, did see lots of Jews interacting before people fully understood the need for social distancing, the latest holidays were so recent that it's unlikely that they've translated yet into COVID-19 deaths. So this could just be a reflection of the higher death toll and the increasing number of infections that the country's seeing at large.
Right. Of course, the ultra-Orthodox community in the UK is not nearly the numbers in the United States, certainly not in Israel, but there are communities there. Observance of social restrictions, have they been more or less followed, or have we seen some of the resistance that we've seen in such communities for here and in the U.S.?
There's undoubtedly resistance among ultra-Orthodox Jews as much as there is among any other part of society. And in fact, the longer these lockdowns go on here in the UK and elsewhere, more and more groups, religious or otherwise, are quite reluctant to keep following the rules, simply because it makes life extremely difficult. So I don't think we can say that Orthodox Jews or any other minority group are necessarily any worse behaved, let's say, than any other group or the wider population. But certainly, just as with the wider population, there will be some who feel they can't obey the rules. And for example, the need to have 10 men together for a minyan for Jewish prayer may push some people towards trying to find ways around the rules, which currently restrict gatherings in the UK to groups of 6 or fewer, unless it's in an organised place of worship where you can gather in higher numbers. So, of course, there are elements to be thought about in terms of how some Jews may break the rules, just as there are elsewhere. Really, what we're looking at, I think, is a spike in infections and therefore, unfortunately, deaths across the whole nation. And that's not necessarily something that's down to particular behaviours of particular groups like Orthodox Jews.